Rajni sir, shall we start?
Sharma sir,
We'll start, sir.
I think you can start
Yeah, I'm starting.
Sorry for the delay.
because both the speakers have joined.
Yeah. Good afternoon, one and all. Welcome to all of you to the interactive session with successful startup founders, entrepreneurs in campus. So we are glad to have our passed out students, and they are now entrepreneurs, Sriram Kapilwai and Venkata Fanindra sir. And I request CH Rajini Prashant sir, Training and Placement Officer, Matrish Engineering College, to introduce the speaker to the audience.
Yeah. Good afternoon to Principal Matrushi Engineering College, HODs of all the departments, my dear colleagues, dear students, and especially to today's speakers, Mr. Sriram Kapilavai and also Mr. Venkata Fanindra. We are glad to have these two alumni of our college as speakers, guest speakers. Session 1 would be handled by Mr. Sriram Kapilavai. Mr. Sriram Kapilavai is a student of Matrushi Engineering College. He completed his undergraduate program in 2015 in Mechanical Engineering Department. He has been a successful entrepreneur. Presently, he is the executive director of Sri Chakra Cement Limited. He would be speaking about the successful startups. In fact, the important key skills, uh, employability skills, and also something that is important for students in today's job market. So I request and I also welcome Mr. Sriram Kapilavai to start the session.
Thank you, sir. Good afternoon, everyone. Respected principal, sir, staff, and my dear friends. I just want to do a quick audibility check. If I'm audible, can I get a few messages on the chat? That also ensures. Okay. Ravindranath sir is the presentation.
Ravindra sir, your voice is mute.
Okay.
Unmute.
I very much congratulate you to be a successful entrepreneur, and I think you all do well in future also. So please, I request you to throw light on what are the hurdles you have passed, so that the youngsters can take you as a example to meet the challenges what you have placed and then succeeded also.
Sir, your face is not properly visible, sir. Just keep your camera properly.
Let it be like this, please.
So all the audience available, please once turn on your video so that we can take a photograph at the beginning, so that there won't be any interruption in the middle.
Right. Is it visible now? Right. So please explain your journey to achieve these milestones. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I just wanted to do a quick audio check, also a little attention check. If my friends are listening, please drop a message to the public chat, just to say hi. Can I get a few messages if I'm audible? Okay, at least voice confirmation. Someone, am I audible?
Yeah, you are audible, sir.
Okay, great. I'll continue, sir. Well, I'll tell you a little about myself. I am Sriram. I passed out of Matrushi Engineering College in 2015 with a degree in mechanical engineering. As soon as I completed my engineering, I went to Northeastern University, Boston for my master's in industrial engineering. In my master's, I could top my class and I got a industrial engineering top graduate award. So I managed to get A grades across all the subjects that I have chosen. While staying in Boston, I also got the chance to study corporate finance at Harvard University for one summer. And as soon as my degree got completed, there was an opportunity for me to come and start a solar power plant in India. So I had to take the difficult decision of finishing masters, not working in the US, and come back to pursue this renewable energy project. A little about Sri Chakra Cement. Sri Chakra Cement is a family business. So please don't judge me if they call me executive director at this point. It is something that my family has decided to give as a resignation for the past 4.5 years of work that I have put into this organization. So as an entrepreneur, the first opportunity I got as a first venture was to set up a solar power plant. In January of 2017, we started our journey into renewable energy with a 5 megawatt solar power plant, which we use the energy to as a captive solar power plant to consume the electricity generated there at Sri Chakra Cement. So in 2017, I, with a degree in industrial engineering and mechanical engineering, my first assignment was more of an electrical and an electronic engineer. So that is the first shock that first technical shock that I got as soon as I started working in family. I worked with a lot of good consultants who have helped me make the right decisions as far as the solar power plant goes. And there was no limitation on what kind of work that I had to do, because I had to decide on civil engineering works. We had to do layout planning. We had to do the panel selections and kind of conductor selections, tracking mechanisms, inverters, and a lot of things that were very alien to me when I entered into the solar power. And then after a few months after the equipment selection and we started procuring and started erecting these machines, I realized at least that the biggest challenge was to get clearances from the state government. Now, it's a very complicated process setting up an independent power generating plant. For someone with no experience with the government, I had to run around from Hyderabad to Tirupati to Vijayawada there's no set path in the sense that you don't get a syllabus book for setting up a solar power plant. You have to go run around asking people and drafting letters and getting clearances at each and every stage. So essentially, in the first 1.5 years, I did the work of a civil engineer, electrical engineer. I had to also negotiate with lawyers and chartered accountants and company secretaries to get the paperwork in place. And overall, in August 2018, we commissioned 5 megawatts of solar power. And even today, as we speak, we are harnessing the power of the sun to manufacture cement. At the cement plant, simultaneously as I was working with solar and getting the construction work and clearances done, I was also given the assignment of building a new packing plant. So So there was this challenge of integrating a packing line into a cement plant that was built in 1983. So we had to make sure we navigated through the existing buildings and equipment and yet efficiently commission the packing plant with as little energy consumption as possible and the best accuracy possible. So today my job role mostly consists of procurement action, engineering procurement action, and it's mostly purchase, and also site engineering work regarding the process engineering, electrical and civil, and as well as mechanical work. To keep it relevant to the entrepreneurship topic at hand, I would like to say that despite looking at it like a financial decision, having spent some money studying masters in the US and coming back to set up the solar power plant, by executing it within 18 months and generating cash flows immediately within 22 months of the project beginning. The justification I give to myself is that I may have earned back that money that I spent on my masters by successfully completing this solar power project on time. So that's about it from me. And since this is an interactive session, I'd like to take any questions, or I'd like to have continue this with more like a conversation rather than just me speaking alone. So, Rajiv Prashant sir, any questions, or how do we take this?
Now, shall I raise question, Mr. Sriram? What is your target now? What is the achievement target you have set for? Are you planning to further do what do you want to do?
Yes, sir. Sir, like I said, when I started working for Srichakra Cement Limited, I did not have any designation. I finished my education, started within 2 weeks of coming back to Hyderabad. Only in December last year that I have been given this designation of expert. Going forward, what we have to achieve world-class energy efficiency at the cement manufacturing. We are already generating 7 megawatts of solar power, which caters to 20% of our energy demand. If everything goes well, we want to get 40-45% of our energy demand at least from renewable sources like solar and wind. Another big target is we consume a lot of coal. Cement manufacturing consumes a lot of coal, and we are a relatively humble plant of 0.6 million tons per annum. The installed capacity of all the Indian cement plants put together is close to 500 million tons. So we are not even 0.1% of the capacity. But our aim is to match energy efficiency levels of any big organization, and my journey going forward will be to reduce energy consumption, both coal and electrical. Targets for the next 2 years will be majorly on coal and electrical energy.
Sriram, I have a question.
Sir.
I'm Rajni Prashant.
Yes, sir.
Uh, Sriram, what do you have to say to the budding engineers uh, in terms of how to be a successful entrepreneur? What are the key skills required?
Yes, sir. So I'd like to connect this to my journey in a way that, like I said, I've had to, uh, let's say, transact with civil engineers and chemical and electrical engineers without having any background in those specific subjects because I'm a mechanical industrial engineer myself. One thing that can help anyone with any branch of engineering is curiosity. The curiosity is like the biggest. We have to keep asking why. If we are curious about why something is working, why something is not working, there is no limitation to how much we can learn. So, and apart from curiosity, you should also have the ability to accept that if you don't know something, you have to be brave enough to say, I don't know that thing, and the willingness to learn. So, first 1-2 years of any entrepreneurial journey, I can't say that as soon as you finish your 4th year engineering, you can become an entrepreneur. I still think that 1 or 2 years after engineering, you have to work, and while working, you have to continuously keep asking why something is working that way or something is not working that way. And out of that curiosity and this passion to learn new things, that can be the beginning of an entrepreneurial journey.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes.
Sharma sir, students, do you have anything to say?
Yeah, this is an interactive session. The students, those who have joined, they can directly
We
interact
have
with
we have
the,
many questions, but we want students to
yeah.
ask.
The students, you can ask directly or you can send your question in the chat box. It's an interactive session. Yeah, unmute your audio. Just speak to him. Don't hesitate to question. You can ask any question.
How about I have a question for all the students. How many of you have started working on your startup ideas? Like anything interesting that you want to discuss with your friends and stuff?
Very interesting question. How many of you have how many of you plans to start a startup, or do you have an idea with regard to startups? Okay. Sriram, I have one question.
Yes, sir.
One more question. This is regarding the engineering syllabus, the syllabus which we have now. Does it cater to the needs of the industry?
No, sir. I mean, that can only be the beginning, or that can only serve as.
What else? What else apart from doing well in academics? What else they should be doing? Should they learn any certification course or any kind of training course? Are there any platforms wherein the students can get trained?
So, first thing would be to find your passion, sir. I think a lot of my friends who have done very well in their academics or careers have found their interests very early in their engineering. Like I know a junior from mechanical engineering who was playing around with Arduino, and he would just go to King Koti, buy chipsets, program it, and put it on a car, integrate it with the motor, and just playful things. But he's a PhD student now somewhere in the US. I mean, straight from MSc went to PhD.
Right.
I think it's that comes in very early. So first step to instead of chasing courses, we can chase passion first, and then once you know what you are working for, then we can start about the courses.
I mean to say all that is needed is passion, right?
Yeah.
Curiosity,
Yeah.
and this would give shape to the ideas that we have.
Yes.
Great.
So because I mean, if everyone knows how to Google, now someone says I want to become a data scientist. If you are sure that you want to become a data scientist, you type it in Google. You have Coursera, you have Skillshare, edX, hundreds of courses online where you can just watch videos, solve exercises on the computer, and they'll give a good head start. Whether that will guarantee a job, I cannot say. But if you have the luck of sitting and facing an interview, and you have already are exposed to courses like that, you will automatically speak on the level of the interviewer, saying that, I mean, you know what they are asking about. But once you are exposed to one or two online courses, and but first, just find what you love.
So, Mr. Sriram, I have one question on behalf of the students.
Sir.
What is the biggest factor that has helped you be successful?
Sir.
And one more thing is, what is the hardest decision that you have ever had to make?
Yes, sir. So, one thing I can't say I have been absolutely successful so far. This is only one venture that I have taken up. So, the only one great thing is you should have that courage to try without the fear of fail. Well, I don't know if when I jumped from US and I said maybe I can take up this job, when we were discussing this with my family, I had no idea whether if we just set up a few solar panels, it's going to generate so much energy. It only generates from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. It does not generate at night. Even in that time, we have to optimize. The sun is in the east. When it's rising, it goes to the west. And we had to make decisions on tracking, how to make sure the panels actually track. We had to look all over the world to see if someone has who's doing the best tracking mechanism. We finally found it in some manufacturer from Italy. They have a very good tracking system there. Depending on the season, they know how the sun moves at what time of the year, and the panels track accordingly to maximize generation in that 10 or 11 hours. Biggest factor to success, if one project of mine is considered successful, the biggest factor that drove to that success is again just trying without the fear of failure, and some fundamental knowledge on engineering and physics and things like that. As long as your basics are strong and you are fearless, or you are okay with experimenting, some breakthrough will come. And the harshest decision I had to make is this happens during maintenance shutdowns at the cement plant. When we stop for 30 days and 35 days, we do that every once in a year. The pressure of not having product to send out to the market, the pressure of disrupting what every day some X amount of cement has to go into the market, the money has to come back to the organization. That's how salaries are paid and the power bills and coal bills are paid. But once in a year, we have to take this tough decision of listing out 10 or 12 jobs that we want to do this year during the shutdown, and mobilizing manpower for that, making sure that spares are there on time. And we have done that 5 times so far after I joined the organization. Every time it feels like the most riskiest thing I have done, declaring that tomorrow we are going to stop and we are going to finish the maintenance in 30 days. And that tough decision we have to make every once in 10-12 months. And once that shutdown is over and we start the plant again, our planning for the next shutdown starts. So that tough decision is always there with us, and being the technical head at the moment, we have to make that tough decision once in every 10 months. So I'm not sure if I've answered Sharma sir, if I'm not wrong, Sharma sir's question. But once you're running, you're responsible for a few decisions in an organization. Every day is a tough decision. There is even at solar power, where we only have 4 or 5 employees. It's a tough decision whether the government will clear your bill on time, or how to pay the salaries, how to pay the loans. And the toughest decisions I have made, I can't point out one, but we get one tough decision every year at least. Yeah, can I be a little more specific, sir? Anything else that you?
Sharma sir, anything specific?
That's all, sir. I'm just again inviting the participants to raise any questions. It's an interactive session once again. Anybody?
Participants can ask questions.
This session
This
is
is an
arranged for the
interactive
benefit
session.
of the students.
Yes. If you have any questions, you can ask.
Feel free to ask questions. It's not your regular class. You are listening to success stories.
Okay.
Is any questions from the audience, or shall we go to the next speaker?
Okay, before going to the next speaker, on behalf of the Department of EEE and Training and Placement Cell, and also IIC MECS, I would like to thank Mr. Sriram Kapilavai for accepting our invitation. According to him, I understand it's the curiosity and the passion that makes you entrepreneurs, right? One needs to have curiosity and passion, and these are the things that shape your idea and give it a form. So with that note, I would once again like to thank Mr. Sriram. Thank you, Sriram, for your time. Sir, anything else? Sharma Garu, anything else?
That's all, sir. Let the Sriram sir will be there. If any questions the audience wants to ask at the end of the second person talk,
Yes.
can be ready to give.
Sriram sir, yeah, we will invite the next speaker.
Sure,
And
sir.
at the end, we'll see, sir, if we have any questions, we can take.
Sure,
So
sir.
if
I'll be on audio. I'm currently in my
Okay,
class.
sir.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'll be
yes, sir.
on audio, sir. Yes.
Okay, okay. Okay,
please introduce the next speaker, sir, to the audience.
yeah, I take the privilege of inviting our next speaker is Mr. Venkata Fanindra. He did his BE in Electronics and Communication Engineering in 2016. Presently, he is heading an organization called Vidyu. He is the president of Vidyu organization. Very active student. When he was in college, he was a very active student and very active alumni, and also contributes to the MECS Alumni Association. Now I invite Mr. Fanindra. Fanindra, sir.
Thank you so much, sir. The principal, sir, the faculty, and the students of Mathras Engineering College. A very good afternoon, everyone. Sir, am I audible?
Yeah, you are audible.
You're audible. Welcome. Please go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. So, before we get on to the technicalities of, the issue that we are here on the topic of today, I would actually take 2 minutes and give a brief about myself. So, I'm a student from Mathushi Engineering College, 2012 to 16 batch, ECE background. During my college days, apart from our regular curriculum stuff, we were me along with other 6 students of Mathras Engineering College. We had a thought of why don't we do something for the society, pay back to the society for what we are taking up. So during our third year in 2015, me along with 6 others from the same college, we have started an organization named Vitti Organization. Our main motto was to work on the regular problems that people face on ground, work for the society and bring out a better society. So along with our typical curriculum stuff, we also focused on what best we can do for the society. So this we have did it during the third year of college, and we are almost into 6 years of completion of establishing with the organization. Today, I can proudly say we started with a team of 7 members for establishing an NGO, and from there, now we are almost a team of 200 to 250 plus. Out of which, we have 3 student chapters. One we have an MECS. I believe the folks who are attending the call today, a few of them might know me very well as we worked very closely on the social service activities. Uh, Along with that, once I have completed my education, I have joined Mindtree, and I've been working in Mindtree from last 4 years. I am a technical lead on the Azure background. I work for Microsoft. My client is Microsoft. I work in Mindtree as a technical lead. So this is typically about me. There are a few important factors which I actually want to talk to all of you, because you being the students who will be coming out of colleges, and you will be the persons who market will be looking forward in the next 2 years, 1 or 2 years. It is very important for us to shape ourselves in such a way that where market is demanding. So because how the way market wants an engineer to be, if we are not prepared for that, market will not accept us. So to shape ourselves in that way, there are very important things that we have to focus upon. I would like to get all these points one by one. For example, if you want to be successful and in the passion that you have, or in the field that you want to be, first important thing is you have to have a mission. Mission is nothing but your goal. For example, if you want to get into IT, or if you want to establish a company, anything like that, having a goal that I will do this by this time is nothing but having a goal. That is nothing but mission. And having a mission is not that important, or not that great. It is important but not that great. After you have a mission, it is very important that you frame out a path to achieve that mission, and we call it as vision. You often read, big organizations give out their public articles saying that, hey, this is our vision 2020, vision 2030, vision 2040. So to be successful, you should have a goal, and along with that, you should have a path of, or a plan of how you achieve that goal. That we call it as vision. So having a vision and having a mission and having a vision to achieve that is very important. These are very two important factors if you want to be successful in wherever field or whatever field that you want to be. And along with that, always remember one thing. Today we talk about success stories. We have seen how the way Sri Ram have shaped his life, and you'll now be knowing how the way I have built me and my organization in the last 5 to 6 years. But then it's not about the success story. It is all about what are the efforts that we have been putting, or what are the efforts that we have put all these years to become this successful. Success stories we all cherish. Everyone love to hear success stories. But then if you have some takeaways from that, that is nothing but the hard work that particular person have put, the steps that a particular person have taken in terms of challenges. When you face a challenge, how calm and composed you are and how focused you are matters a lot. So these will be the takeaways, the path that you have gone through to achieve success or to get successful is what will be takeaways. So having a mission and vision is very important. And along with that, if you want to be an entrepreneur, as our main topic for today will be, have to be a good entrepreneur. If you say this, you alone cannot achieve things. It's not only on building a company or on anything on the entrepreneurship stuff. If you go to a regular job also, it is not that you alone can achieve things or you alone can do everything. It is all important that how a teamwork work, how a teamwork will give you results. If you are heading an organization, along with your mission and your vision, it is also important that you build a very strong team and you believe in your team. Without that, overnight success will not be possible for anyone, of course. And along with that, achieving everything by yourself is also not possible. So you have to build a team in such a way that they will be able to take their responsibilities and all these things on their shoulders. And then it is equally important that you also believe in your team. They have to have trust in you, and you also have to believe in your team. This mutual trust will actually give you tremendous results. This very important quality again that we also have to, everyone have to have, to have some great results. And along with that, uh, as we all are from engineering background, when you go for campus recruitment interviews or any interview, you face a very common question. What are your strengths and weakness? We often talk about it. Pretty unfortunate. I can say this that we usually go through Google Answers and then prepare for our interviews when we talk about strengths and weakness. But then I'll tell you, every person will have strengths and every person will have weakness. It is upon an individual that how he will back his strengths and how he will work on their weakness. For example, if I'm good at point A, I have to back myself on point A, as well as if I'm bad at point B, if I'm not good at point B, I have to prepare a plan of action on how I can get better on point B. That is where I can convert my weakness into strengths. If you are able to do that, if you can convert your weakness to strength, then definitely you will be successful. And along with that, having a proper time management is very important. We often talk about work-life balance. Having passion and working on it is very important, but doesn't mean that you will leave everything else. It is very important you maintain that balance. You maintain a balance between your personal life and a professional life. You also maintain a balance of what you do on your professional life as well. So this work-life balance, it will be a very key factor when you start working anything. Let that be getting certifications, or when you go onto a job, or when you start an organization, when you start a business, having this balance is very important. And along with that, one last important quality that I feel it is very important for us to grow is consistency. Today, when it is my day, I'll rock. Tomorrow, when I'm unable to fetch my results, I should not feel low on morale. I should not go down. So I should try my best to be as consistent as possible. Unfortunately, if I'm not doing well today, tomorrow I'll try my best to pick myself up again. So if you are able to fetch results consistently, if you are able to put your efforts consistently in achieving your results, that is where you know you actually turn out to be a very good entrepreneur, or you actually turn out to be a very good individual in whatever work you do. So these are very important factors that you all should have. I'll just repeat all these points again in a minute. First thing is you should have a mission that is nothing but a goal, and then you should have a vision to achieve that goal. Second thing is you should build a strong team and have faith in your team. You trust your team should believe in you. Third important thing, back your strengths and work on your weakness. Make sure that after you work on your weakness, in a year or so, you turn your weakness into your strengths. And fourth important thing is time management. It is very important. We give enough importance to everything in our life. You have to maintain that work-life balance. It is not that we forget the complete world around and we just sit on one thing. That should not be done. Because if that is done after a certain point of time, you will lose interest in that. Because over focus will sometimes make you, over enthusiastic, and then you will lose that consistency factor. As I told, you have to maintain that work-life balance. And the last important point here is having consistency. So if you are able to have these five qualities in you, you definitely can be a very good entrepreneur, or you can definitely be a very good individual in whatever field that you want to explore. And along with that, one important thing which I always want to share to all my fellow college mates, you know, we actually plan of doing something like, hey, what my plan is, I have an exam next month, so I'll start preparing from today, in such a way that I'll complete this particular portion in these days. You'll have a plan. Unfortunately, if that fails, what happens is your complete plan of action is disturbed now, because of which you will see that impact on your end result, which ideally should not be. So I would say, for whatever vision that you have to achieve your goal, always have a plan B. That doesn't mean that you don't trust your plan A. It always means that, just in case, even if your initial plan is distorted, you always have a plan B, and get your target, or your process of achieving your target on track again by using your plan B. So you should have faith in yourself, have a plan B if required, make sure that you are achieving target. This is one other important factor. Coming to, in fact, I'll tell you the prime reasons why I am here today talking to you. You won't believe, when I have started my job search after my college. In fact, during the college days, as well as Rajni Prashant sir was saying, I've been very actively interacting with all my faculty, interacting with the training and placement officers, or everyone, in fact. You won't believe the company which I work in, the company where I started my career. I work in Mindtree now. I This particular interview which I gave to Mindtree was my 84th interview. You won't believe, I had given 83 interviews before this, and this was my 84th interview. One important thing, that as a takeaway that I want to give it to you from this particular example, is believe in yourself. When you can't believe in yourself, how can someone else believe in you? When you can't believe in yourself, you can't even ask your parents to believe in you, to believe in you. You can't ask someone in the market to believe in you. So self-belief is very important. Believe yourself, because you are the only person that who you know better. No one else can know about you more than you. No, it is only you who can know 100% about yourself. So believe in yourself. That is a very important thing. And another important thing, as I told, during my college days, I've started an organization named With You Organization for doing the social service activities. During our college days, when we have started this, everyone whom I have interacted with during that time as well used to say this to me. Funny, this is a very good thing that you have taken up. It is very, it's great to see, people like you taking this up. But at the same time, it is very important for me to build a career on my own as well, along with doing these activities. So when you want to handle both the things, you have to give enough importance to both the things. For example, when if I talk about With You activities, we have taken or we have taken responsibilities of few activities. We have announced few programs in such a way that we haven't even thought of doing so. Today we have built an organization this way, and we are certified by Central Government of India. We work with Niti Aayog. We are an ISO 9001 2008 certified organization. Within this 6 year span, we have extended our helping hand to almost 10,000 people till date. And to be very frank, in 2015, when I was sitting in my third year class, EC third year class, sitting in the benches in that bench, when we decided to start this organization, we didn't expect that we would be achieving this much of things in such short span of time. Today we were able to do that because I've built a strong team in such a way. Even if I'm out of all these activities for a month or 2 or 3, there will be no impact on the groundwork. They'll take care of the things. At the same time, when you take up few challenges, you need to be very cautious of all your steps, because when people look, one important quality which entrepreneurs or everyone have is, when you're an entrepreneur or when you're head of an organization, people look out for you. What you do, people take that, people see that as a role model, or people see that, hey, this person is doing this, so I'll also do this. So it is very important to have each and every step of you will show an impact on the society. So one similar kind of challenge which I have faced recent times is the COVID relief program which we have done last year during the lockdown times. We hardly had 6 or 7 people in the city to conduct a program, and we had to do the relief program throughout the city. So after a typical 2 or 3 days war room discussions, we came out saying that yes, we will do it, and we came out with a phrase saying that minimum resources with maximum impact with minimum resources. So that is all about what I have been doing, or what I can give tips to you or guide you. So I'll actually live the remaining time to the folks here to shoot questions and have this session as a more interactive one.
Thank you. I request the audience, especially students, to interact with your senior. Yeah, somebody from the audience, students.
Bro, what kind of work does With You organization do?
Okay, we work on 4 different domains. It is on health, environment, education, as well as disaster relief. These are the 4 sectors where we work upon.
Yeah, anything more you want to speak to him related to the various things that he has discussed? Sir, now Sriram sir also joined. I think you people can interact yourself once. You can chart yourself so that we want to hear.
Hey Sriram, this is funny.
I
Your
can't,
junior
I
actually.
can't recognize you with your beard. I don't know. Maybe we've met in college before, but it's
Probably,
been,
yeah.
it's been a
Right,
long
right.
time.
Yeah.
Good to hear. Good to see you doing great work with your organization and also while keeping your full-time job. It's actually very inspiring.
Thank you, Sriram. Sriram, I have a question for you.
Please.
When you had decided to come back to India to take up this role from US,
Right.
what was running in your mind, or what made you take that decision, and what was running in your mind at the time?
See, emotionally a lot, Mahendra, but it boils down to, even for any startup idea or anything, it boils down to a financial decision, right? You have to put it on paper what you spent on your master's for education, what you're going to generate by putting solar power here. Or it's not, okay, I like to consider myself fortunate that this opportunity is there for me and I could execute it and come back. But whatever startup or any idea you have, I think it boils down to basic feasibility, what amount of time and money you're putting and whether you'll be able to earn it back. So, yeah, payback is a big thing in any idea. But if you're not putting so much money, it's only time, you're only exploring. Like you said, you have to just strike keep your work life, keep your personal life, and at the same time, you can pursue your startup idea. So fundamentally, it has to pay back.
Totally agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, let's hear back from students actually, if they want to put us some questions.
Sir, I want one question from Sriram to Phanindra garu.
My question to Phanindra. Okay. How did you handle so many interviews, Phanindra? I mean, what gave you the strength and what kept you going while you were doing? While you were interviewing for so long, how else did you keep yourself active? Were you learning other things at the same time?
Okay, so to answer that, before Mindtree, as I told I have given 83 other interviews. No, it is always a two-way thing. When you give interviewer also should feel that, hey, this is the person whom I'm actually looking for. At the same time, you also have to have a feeling that yes, this is the organization, or this is the role where I want to start my career with. So in all these 83 interviews, this wasn't happening on both the sides. Either where I feel that yes, this is what I want to do. In that particular stage, interviewer comes back and says sorry. When interviewers feel that hey, you are the right person, and sometimes I go back and say sorry, because at the same time, as you said, finances matters a lot when you come out of college and when you get into this job life and all this stuff. So
Correct.
I also have to think about this thing. I can't make myself wait long to get into a job. So I only backed myself on my strength. In fact, during my college days as well, with the start of fourth year, I used to have a very frequent communications, very frequent conversations with Rajini Prashant sir. Sir always used to back me up with my strengths. Saying that, funny, you'll definitely get into a decent organization which you're actually looking for. So very important thing is you back your strengths and work on where you are lacking. If a company or if a person is rejecting you for an offer, that means that he's looking for something else, or you are lacking something. So just figuring it out where you are lacking and then working on it will be the key.
Actually, one thing that I wanted to communicate earlier also, it's important to know that what kind of company you want to work for. That's like I just picked it up from Phanindra's conversation. So now that we are so connected with LinkedIn and we have access to a lot more professionals today because of social media. if you know that you want to work for a certain organization, let it be Amazon, let it be, say you want to work for Hyundai R&D in Hyderabad, or you want to work for someone else, you know that organization inside out. Just learn about what they do professionally, day in and day out. How did the organization start? And go to LinkedIn, see if you can get in touch with the HR people at your favorite organization. Request for an internship. Build a resume, something that you can show to someone, and if they say, okay, we might offer you a little internship without any pay, but we'll teach you some work and things like that. I think even before my friends as students jump into the entrepreneurship bandwagon, it's important to build a resume, have a professional looking LinkedIn profile, and just keep asking and asking. Like, look for companies that you like, and just keep asking for internships and jobs, and I'm sure you will get a break somewhere. And once you start working for a company that you like, automatically in 1-2 years you will get your ideas about how you want to start your own business. So yeah, before entrepreneurship, get a job, get an internship, be on LinkedIn, and your LinkedIn profile pictures should not look like your Instagram profile picture. It should be more professional. Have a professional mail ID. No chinna.bujji@gmail.com, your last name.firstname@gmail.com, and create that today if you don't have one, and start sending out your resumes.
Any questions from students? Students, you can ask questions. It's open for you.
Students, do you have any questions to ask?
Yeah, we are waiting for your questions.
Faculty can also ask questions. Faculty members can also ask.
Bro,
Okay.
what do you Faninda,
Yeah.
bro?
Yeah.
What do you
Number
Yes, yes.
11. Yes.
on you're handling the NGO, you're running the NGO right now with your organization. Apart from
Right.
that, what do you do for your revenue, your job for earning?
Okay. I work as a technical lead in Mindtree. I work on Azure background. I am a team lead here. I handle a team of 10, and we basically manage Azure capacity. If if you're familiar with the cloud, Microsoft Azure, so we handle the capacity in Azure.
On doing your IT job, and on behalf of that, you're handling the
Yep.
organization too.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. I'm doing both.
So Mithilesh has a question: how to build a strong team to start a company? I think you take that. Faninda, you want to answer that?
Yeah. So building a strong team, for that, what I would say is, what kind of work are you looking from people? Based on that, you have to build a team. For example, if you want to build a team of 10 with if I talk on the IT terms, if I have to build a team of 10, so I'll see it in this way. I'll have a combination of a bit of experienced as well as new blood that is freshers, because the kind of innovative ideas which a new blood or a fresher will get is that kind of accuracy, or that innovative thoughts which usually we don't see that from high experienced people. As well at the same time, high experience also matters a lot. So this balance of experience as well as young freshers is very important. So to build a team, this is one important thing that you have to look for. And the second thing is the technical expertise. When you build a team, your team should be capable of doing all the works even when you are not there. So these are the two important factors which I think you should build a team with.
We have one question in the chat box, sir, from Sai Mithilesh. How to build a strong team to start company?
Yeah, so I'd like to add to what Farindra said, answering the same question. So at the moment, since you are third year students, you have a tremendous opportunity to start building teams in your classroom right now. I mean, little things like maybe solving an assignment or maybe doing a project. If you are if you already have a group that studies together, it's good. If you don't, form a group, take 3, 4 people and say that, hey, our target is to submit this by Monday and meet them 1 or 2 times after college. Without copying each other's work, try to solve it on your own, see where you stand, cross-check your answers after you get your answers, not before you even start solving. And you know what happens when a bunch of engineering students meet? They're like, cinema ke lamla. Try to avoid that. Work on your assignment, finish it, then go for your movie or that obviously you can't do that now because of the COVID situation. But try to achieve a small target with a small group of people today. You will have to take up a larger project next year, your final project. By practicing how to achieve these little goals like assignments and bigger goals like projects, you will learn how to deal with people. You will develop your interpersonal skills. That is a great way to start your team building skills while you have another 1 year in college. And you will see how wonderfully that will translate to team skills when you're outside in the real world.
Ram Sharma sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Sriram Sharma sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So there is one question, sir. How you have started your organization? Like it was service giving organization, you need to take people support as manpower, financial support and public faith. I mean, how it all took you put your organization in a well strengthened team and with all the recognition? Is a question from the student. I think you can check
Hey.
it in the chat box also if possible.
Yes, sir. So, in the initial days when I've started this organization, it was very tough. It was very tough to go on to people and explain them what we're doing, because it is you should have that impression at the first, and then to build that trust with the people, it was not that easy. But then when you have a plan of action, like this is what I'll be doing. And when we went on ground, the first thing that we have done is we have taken up a Swachh Bharat program in Vanasalipuram. And after we have done that, I all of a sudden got a call from the local administrative departments, and they asked me how did the program go, and what were the outcomes of this stuff. I was surprised by getting a call from them. And after that, within 6 months, Chennai flood relief was one of the biggest programs that we have done. In fact, I still remember my whole section. I was in third year at that time. My complete ECEA whole section went on ground with me. We were roaming on roads, completely to collect funds, and then converting that particular fund into material, and then shipping it out to Chennai. Every small thing that we have taken up as a challenge. But then at the same time, as I told before, believe in your goal, or believe in yourself. So when we have went out to people, initially we heard many no's. Like, we have seen many people like this, go. So these are the very common things that you will usually hear from people when you want to do something different. At the same time, you cannot react to them. You should just live it. At the same time, tomorrow, when you prove yourself, prove your worth to the society, they will definitely believe in you. And once you build that trust, so to build that trust, you have to be fair, transparent. Of course, being fair and transparent is always, you should be doing that. But to build that trust, these things are very important. being fair and being transparent with the people of what you're doing, what the finances are, all this stuff, and explaining it to your own friends, your own friends, or if you're working, your colleagues, your family, relatives, cousins, all these circles. So when you talk to these people, those people will be a strength tomorrow. When we went out after Chennai, when we have did Kerala Flood Relief Program in 2018, this whole circle came up to me just by when I posted it on my social media profile, stating that we had this in Chennai. Sorry, we had this in Chennai. We did in 2015. Now Kerala is getting affected in 2018. Now let's stand for Kerala. With just one single post, I did not request anyone. I did not personally talk to anyone. They had that trust in me after seeing all the activities that me and my team have been doing. So after the trust is built, people definitely will be in line with what you are doing. So to build that trust, definitely, you have to work hard, believe in yourself. Even if you are not seeing your expected result, you have to believe in yourself. One best example that I can say is, I think in 2018, we have conducted blood relief camp in college, Maharashtra Engineering College. Initially when the camp started in the morning, we expected the total turnaround to be 80. We expected 80 units that we will be collecting till the end of the day. After 2 hours, Harish sir, who was handling the activity there, reached out to me, said that, honey, we are running short of packets. The packets where we have to collect blood, so we might have to get more. You won't believe the outcome was 148. We got 148 units of blood at the end of the day. It's only that you have to believe in yourself and keep it open. That a trust factor will be built for the people. Once that is done, right, everything will go on place then. But till then, you have to work really hard. Okay.
We have one more question, sir.
Yes.
The chart.
Not sure. I'm unable to open the chat.
Yeah. Is there any situation like I can't take it anymore while having many numbers from people around you and public?
Many no's.
Many no's. You can ask that question if possible.
Yes, please. Please put the question here directly.
Yeah, clearly ask that question.
Hello. Bro, like, have you faced any situation like you can't take it anymore when you're facing situations like many no's from the people around you and in your team? Felt like I give up and with at the
Yeah,
starting.
we did face that when we went out to help people or do something for the society. We in return have we have heard something like you are just students now. तुम लोग क्या कर सकते हैं? What can you people do? There's something big which you are aiming at. Live it. You will hear many people discouraging you that you cannot do it or you will not be able to do it. This is a pretty common thing. Even we have faced it. We faced it almost till first 1 to 2 years of our establishment. We faced it, but when we have proven to the society that yes, this is what we are capable of doing, then after that, the same people who initially discourage you or you who initially say the statements that you can't do it, they'll be the first persons to to give you an applause. Just have to have that patience.
Not hearing the small no's, like at any kind of situation, like you had, I can't take this. Like in your team,
Uh,
people will give
till
you what you feel.
till that level, we did not had anything of that level. But yeah, usually if you typical rejections from the people we usually have, that is pretty common. We cannot take it till that extent. Fortunately, we did not have any.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Any more questions? Yes, any questions from the students? Okay, if there are no questions from the audience, you can wind up. Any questions from the faculty? Those are there in this session. Any more questions? Otherwise, we can wind up. Okay, I thank Sriram Kapilbhai and Mr. Venkat Phanindra for spending your valuable time here to educate or to the budding entrepreneurs, because we don't know what is their future and how they want to become. The thing is, it's a great platform that is provided by Institution Innovation Council. So to have such type of wonderful discussions and sessions in the college level, I think these present students are fortunate enough to have such a wonderful sessions with the seniors. So once again, thank you both you people for spending your valuable time and fruitful time and answering the questions posed by students and both the sides, because you people have questioned yourself and discussed, and you enlightened the audience with your whatever experience, and really how an entrepreneur should be, what are the features of an entrepreneur, what are the main points you should keep it in mind, what are the challenges supposed to face. These things we have discussed very well. And once again, we thank you. We'll be in contact with you in future also. We have many more sessions and we want to hear many more your observations or experience, whatever it may be, to share with our student community. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. On behalf of
Thank you.
Mount Engineering College and IAC, I thank Mr. Prashant sir for arranging you people to be here on this occasion, and thank each and one and all for making this session a successful one. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you all.